Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and we're again joined by Derek Binder to discuss all the latest news for Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS from this past week. So let's get right into it. Alright Derek, well it's been a pretty big news week for Smash Bros. Not really because of the usual daily updates, but just because of, them announcing Little Mac. But we already talked about that pretty in depth. We did an analysis, so we're just going to stick to the 4 main screenshots for now. And we'll probably revisit later Lil Mac in the near future with another discussion. But for now, let's start off with a Monday screenshot, which shows off a picture of the Nintendogs Arena, which is actually something we haven't seen much of at all. We've had like a couple clips of it in the trailer, and then we've had I think maybe a screenshot or two. But unfortunately, this one doesn't really show off anything new. It does show a new angle of the course, I believe. We see the left side of the room now. And there's a window there, and we just see a bored-looking dog looking at a TV.
This arena stage seems to have a completely different feel from any other stage in Smash Brothers, because it's so calming.
And that's very fitting for based on the game. It was more relaxed. It was a very different type of game from Nintendo, and yeah, it was more something. It was kind of like Animal Crossing, basically, except you're taking care of a dog. Yeah, but we don't really know much about how it's going to play. We know there's like some building blocks that appear in the level, and I theorized way back in our analysis that maybe the dog might like run through and like rearrange those blocks occasionally or something, or like cause the arena to change dynamically. Because I still don't know what's going on. Like, where is even the arena in this picture?
Somehow they got in the background, or maybe he just knocked over all the blocks and then he got bored.
It's like, I'm done trolling with these guys. I'm just gonna go watch some TV.
Exactly. Honestly, the TV is the most interesting part of this picture.
It is.
Because both of us, as soon as we saw the screen, we captured it and zoomed into that thing as close as we could. And I think we both came to the same conclusion. It seems to be, it's hard to tell because of the glare in the center, but it seems to be a picture of Luigi fighting Ness from Earthbound.
Oh, yeah, I definitely caught the Ness, definitely saw a Ness there. And now that you mention it, I guess that does look like Luigi, but that's a much harder read.
It's much harder to determine that one, just because, but I'm seeing, just looking at it now, I mean, there's a bit of a green on top. Right. It has that same sort of mustache, and I look at that and it's like the only other character I can think of is Luigi.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably a safe bet.
So, Ness confirmed, or is he relegated to a cameo?
I feel like he has to come back because I think again I think it's kind of like Punch-Out, right? Where they show off the arena, it looks just like Punch-Out, and we're like, oh, is Lil Mac gonna be here? And sure enough, he is. I think it's the same thing here. And Ness isn't an original character from the first Smash Brothers, and as I mentioned in our past analysis and discussions, every character from the first game has reappeared in subsequent games. So unless they're really switching up this time, I'm sure Ness is going to be back. Especially because he's only, he appeared in the States, whereas Lucas never appeared, in the States in his own game.
Yeah, it's I'd be shocked if he doesn't come back, and I'd be disappointed if he doesn't come back, because, he wasn't my favorite character, but he was a unique character that I had a lot of fun playing with from time to time. I actually grew into him because I wasn't a fan of him in Smash Brothers. Melee, I started picking up with him more, and by Brawl, I didn't play much with Ness, but I really enjoyed Lucas. And it, pretty much the same play style, but it just it's the one example of a character that I started out with just not enjoying to becoming kind of a favorite.
Yeah, I really like using Ness in the original game. I mean, I think I'm kind of similar. I don't use him too much these days, but in the original game, I really did enjoy using him, and I guess Lucas kind of took over for him in Brawl, for me personally. But yeah, Ness has always just been a really original, really fun character to use, and, a somewhat tricky one with his recovery. So, because of how unique he is, at least in, with his recovery move, I feel like, either him or Lucas will be back. It's really the question of which one, if not both. And if it has to be one, I'm guessing it's going to be Ness. But you never know. Alright, I think that wraps it up for that screenshot. So let's move on to Tuesdays, where we get another look at Lucario. This time showing off his Double-Team move. And it just basically shows it. Yeah, it's back, which we knew. But it looks like I don't think he did this in the original game, where it's like his eyes light up and...
His eyes might have lighted up, but I'm almost positive that circular aura sphere never appeared in Brawl. And I think it just goes to show that whole aspect of his aura being implemented into all of his moves is the case here. So I'm guessing the greater the aura circle there, whenever he does the double team, the greater damage his counterattack will be.
That would make perfect sense. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to be the case.
It's just we got a visual indicator this time.
Yeah, it really does seem like in every respect in this game, they are just really stepping up the visual indicators, you know. Whether it's, you know, the general attacks, having the attack lines appear, or having Lil Mac having a meter now, or having Lucario, you know, potentially exhibit how powerful he is with his aura sphere. Yeah, it's clear they're paying a lot of attention to the small details this time. You know, they can make games in HD now. Why not take advantage of that?
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, so let's move on to Wednesday's picture, which shows off a returning item that we hadn't seen before, the Home Run Bat. And it apparently works just like it did before, you know, where it gives you basically an instant KO if you hit someone with it, you know, dead on. But the way it actually, or rather the character's reactions to get hit by it is a little bit different, in that we can see like their eyes bug out of their head in the case of Donkey Kong here, which might be the best expression so far in this game.
I mean, Donkey Kong's been a wealth of expression so far for these screenshots. Oh, it's amazing! It's wonderful. But the design of the bat itself is kind of badass.
It is, and yeah, even Sakurai mentions that it's black this time. It's always looked, you know, like a baseball bat before. So I wonder why they changed it, but it does look pretty awesome. Like it looks. I mean, in the second screenshot, it looks like Link's holding a gun or something.
Yeah, I think because of how bright everything is, to do a standard wooden colored bat would almost allow it to blend into the background. So I'm wondering if they changed it to black so it stands out more.
And they added the yellow insignia for that same reason, perhaps?
Exactly. So you got the yellow insignia that stands out. You even have the small detail of the Smash insignia at the base of the bat.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. You're right. Yeah. Good eye. So it's actually, you know, I wonder now, because I don't think the baseball bat's tied to any Nintendo series. So I wonder if they're outfitting all the generic Smash items like the baseball bat and the ray gun, if with Smash logos, because the ray gun got the Smash logo upgrade.
Yeah,
looks like this got the Smash logo upgrade. I can't think of any other items offhand. Maybe the proximity mine, I guess, is a generic item.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
and they have. I don't think they've shown that off yet, so that might have the Smash logo as well. So, yeah, it's cool how they're sort of unifying these things after a while, saying, okay, they're not from any particular series. Although I guess you could sort of claim from Earthbound, but Ness already has a baseball bat in his repertoire, so the home run bat is uniquely different. I think this, along with the sandbag, which I mentioned in the Little Mac analysis, you know, him returning in that little cutscene, I think this all but confirms that the home run derby or whatever it was for, you know, past Smash games like Melee and Brawl is coming back.
I think that makes sense. I thought it was a lot of fun too, playing that. I had a lot of fun with that mode, like especially using Yoshi and his flutter kick to just like just pound that sandbag into the ground like 100 kicks at once.
Yeah. That mode was surprisingly fun. I had a friend back in the day when when Melee was the latest Smash game, and he had looked up tricks online so that you could build up the most amount of damage and do these absolutely amazing things that beats sandbag, and then just unleash that perfect attack at the right time and just send it flying. So I could never do anything like that for myself, but I still had fun with it, and I'd love to see even more examples of how people come up with the ways to maximize sending the sandbag as far as possible. Just really cool.
But yeah, I'm just happy to see the baseball bat's back. I've always loved the baseball bat, especially I loved how you could just throw it, and it was almost, well, not as powerful, but it was still a pretty potent weapon, even just being thrown.
I think most people just stuck to throwing it because it was so hard to connect with a swing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it really was. It basically was more effective as a throwing weapon, which made it all the more hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, I love that thing. But yeah, I mainly just throw the damn thing.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Now, before we move on, there's just one more thing I wanted to point out real quick, and that's, it looks like, I mean, we know it's going to be a really powerful weapon, of course, and that's still going to be the case, and we can see that's reflected in the visual style around the image. Like, you can see all these weird colors happening around DK and, like, these, like, almost lightning bolt type things firing off. So it really gets back to what we were saying with Lucario, you know, them just upgrading the visual style to better convey what exactly is happening. Alright, so let's move on to the final, our final screenshot for the most part, being Thursdays. And in this one we see Peach doing some kind of move, and a rainbow appears. Unfortunately, Sakurai doesn't comment at all on the picture itself, so we have no further details on this. Now, we were talking before, and I think you thought this could be maybe her taunt or something, or... I
thought maybe it could be the taunt, but I'm thinking less likely. I think it's just actually the animation for her upwards attack.
Her up smash? Or normal
maybe
attack?
Not even smash, just up attack in general, because it's too hard to tell whether it's a smash or not, but I don't think it's her smash. And I think it's one of those examples of them catching the screenshot at just the right time. I think if in the game the rainbow might not be quite as obvious, I think it might work sort of like how I discovered the...
EKG meter, I think? Or
yeah,
is it EKG meter?
I think that's the name of it.
Or is that the Ghostbusters thing?
Yeah, it might be.
The heartbeat monitor.
The heartbeat monitor is what I called it, because I couldn't... everybody knows what that is. Yeah. For Little Mac, when he's doing his counter maneuver, so just another example of a lot of detail into just the tiniest bits of frames of animation. And I think it might last longer than that, heartbeat monitor, but still, I think it's something to that effect.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It looks very prominent here, but I'm guessing it's only a few frames in the actual game. Mm-hmm. I'm inclined to think it represents, if it's not a taunt, I'm inclined to think it represents one of her more powerful attacks. Mm-hmm. Just because it does seem to be fairly detailed, and I don't think we've seen something quite in this level for a normal attack, like where it's some kind of potent move instead of just a standard up attack. But, who really knows if it's, it could be a taunt too. Mm-hmm. Alright, well, I think that wraps up our discussion this week. Friday was just a few more pictures of Lil Mac, and we've already, talked and analyzed him in depth.
Quite a bit. There's maybe a little bit more to say, but we'll save that for another time, perhaps.
Yeah, so we'll probably come back with, if not another analysis, another discussion about Lil Mac. So we'll talk about him more in depth. But yeah, so that wraps up for this week, so thanks guys for watching. If you like this discussion, please make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain.com for more on Smash and other things gaming. Also keep an eye on our Facebook and Twitter pages at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below, as we post all kinds of things there. Alright, thanks for watching guys. Bye.